I learned the hard way. There are two things you never ever mess with in a quiet American neighborhood: somebody else's property and anything even remotely connected to federal infrastructure. I wish I'd known that up front. Back then, the scariest thing I thought could happen on my street was another passive-aggressive sticky note about the trash bins being out of line or a neighbor grumbling about my grass being an inch too tall. But boy, was I wrong. I mean, spectacularly wrong. I found out the day my driveway turned into a makeshift parking lot for government sedans, and the neighborhood's nosiest HOA president finally learned what it feels like when the clipboard stops protecting you. But that's getting ahead of myself. When I first bought my house, it wasn't anything fancy. Narrow lot on Alder Ridge Lane. The porch steps creaked if you even looked at them funny. The paint had faded a couple of decades ago, and there was this sycamore tree out front, old and stubborn, dropping leaves like it had a personal grudge against fall. Still, I loved it. It was mine, quiet, affordable, and most importantly, it came with access to a brand new fiber line that ran clean and fast right through the alley out back. That might not sound like much, but it mattered. I worked remote systems analyst for a big aerospace subcontractor. Nothing out of a spy movie, no secret missions, just lots of code staring at screens, making sure nothing broke that shouldn't. It was the kind of job where if your connection lags, you're not just annoyed, you're in trouble. Internet wasn't some luxury for me. It's how I paid the bills, kept my insurance, stayed in the game. So I made sure it was bulletproof. Ran conduit from the pole straight to the garage, set up a neat patch panel labeled "Every Wire," bought a modem that could handle a minor apocalypse. If you didn't know what you were looking for, you'd never see it. But someone did. Of course they did. Her name wasn't Karen. Let's just call her Linda. Lived 3 houses down corner lot with the kind of lawn that looks mowed by a laser. Flags swapped out by season. And she had this presence, filled up the whole block, and she never even raised her voice. HOA president naturally. Clipboard neighborhood app account, and a deep-seated belief that she alone stood between our cul-de-sac and total chaos. She noticed everything. Trash cans out 15 minutes too early. That's a note. Fence post leans half an inch. Note. A wind chime makes noise after 8:00 p.m. Definitely a note. Linda didn't yell, she documented. She'd smile, file her complaint, and keep moving. Then one day she noticed my roof. Not the whole roof, mind you, just this little antenna tucked away near the back. Nothing dramatic, just part of my home network. That night I got my first message. Friendly reminder. Rooftop installations require HOA approval, with a smiley, but the kind that feels like a warning. I replied, explained. It wasn't visible from the street, nothing new, nothing major. She responded with a thumbs-up emoji, felt like a threat, honestly. After that, Linda hovered. Asked about cables, grumbled about utility workers, even accused me of installing a satellite dish I didn't own. Every conversation seemed pleasant, but there was always this edge, like she'd already decided I was a problem and was just waiting for the evidence. Then came Monday morning. It was quiet. Too quiet. I'd just gotten home from grabbing groceries. No doorbell chime. No hum from the fridge. My phone wouldn't sync up with the house. Router dead. Modem dark. Phone might as well have been a paperweight. I figured it was an outage, happens, right? So I grabbed a hoodie, walked out back to the alley to check the junction box. Clear skies, no wind, no storm. But then I saw it, the line running down from the pole to my ground box, gone. Not frayed, not torn, clean cut, neat. Like someone took their sweet time. My stomach just dropped. Called the provider. They checked no outages in the neighborhood, just me. Promised to send a crew next morning, offered a weak hotspot. I hung up and stood there just staring at that cut cable, half hoping it'd explain itself if I looked long enough. Then footsteps on the porch. Linda. Posture perfect, hair pulled tight, eyes sharp as ever. She glanced at the cable, made a little noise, kind of a tisk. "You should be more careful how your wires run," she said, real calm. "Looks messy." "Did you cut my cable?" I asked. She just smiled. "I wouldn't touch private property. I found it like that. I've already reported it." And that's when I realized this wasn't just a busted internet line. This was a line someone really shouldn't have crossed. She left. I just stood there listening to the porch creak, trying to figure out if I was angry or just shocked. There's a certain whiplash you get when you realize a neighbor has crossed from annoying to unhinged, all with a smile. I didn't chase her or argue, just took photos. Lots of them, close-ups, wide shots, timestamps, the whole deal. My job had taught me to document everything in case I ever had to explain myself to somebody who didn't care about my side of the story. Posted a quick note on the neighborhood app. Just the facts: my service line had been cut, provider notified, repairs scheduled, and hey, tampering with utility lines is a serious thing. Put the phone down, because once you light that fuse, you don't control where the sparks land. Replies started coming in fast. Some folks were outraged for me. Others blamed vandals, bored teens, the usual. One neighbor offered to loan me a generator like it was a hurricane. And then there were the quiet ones, didn't comment, but you could see they'd read the post. Twice, 3 times. The ones who knew, who always found problems in other people's yards. Linda replied about 20 minutes later. She said she'd reported the damage to the HOA wiring was a known concern, everyone should stay calm. Classic Linda, sounded helpful, didn't say much of anything. I didn't respond. Next morning, the repair truck showed up just after 8. The tech-marked mid-40s sunburned coffee thermos that looked like it had seen combat. Didn't need a ladder, just took one look and whistled. "That's clean," he said. "Accident?" I asked, even though I already knew. He shook his head. "Nope. Tool cut. Someone wanted it dead." He took his own photos, ran some tests, then paused, staring at his tablet. "What do you do for work?" he asked. I told him. Broad strokes, nothing classified. He nodded like a puzzle piece slid into place. "That explains why this tripped upstream alarms." I blinked. "Upstream alarms?" He explained. My line ran through a shared commercial exchange, and when it went down, it flagged as priority traffic. Not the kind of outage that disappears quietly. Cold chill right then. I realized this was about to get way, way bigger. Mark made some calls. Then he stepped away, voice low. When he came back, his whole vibe had changed. Straighter, all business. "They're expediting the repair," he said. "But there'll be questions." Didn't even have time to ask what kind of questions. The first black sedan rolled up. Then another, then a third. Parked neat like they'd practiced. Doors opened, men and women, suits, earpieces, the whole deal. Not menacing, just official. My neighbors noticed immediately. Garage doors froze, a kid on a bike stopped, curtains twitched. Linda appeared, clipboard in hand. It's like her arm just knew what to do. An agent walked up to me, polite, calm, asked for my name and ID. Another talked with Mark. A third took photos of the cut, the alley, the ground box. Everything was calm, efficient, which made it feel even more serious. Linda floated closer. "I'm the HOA president," she announced. "Is there a problem?" The agent smiled, asked her a few questions. Had she seen anything unusual? When did she first notice? Had she told anyone else? She answered quick, too quick. Clean, polished. She said she'd found the cut on her morning walk, documented it. No idea how it happened, just very concerned about safety. I watched her, not angry, just curious. My job taught me to recognize patterns, and her story felt like a log file that's just a little too neat. The agent nodded, thanked her, then said something that shifted the air. "Ma'am, because this line was connected to critical communications infrastructure, we have to determine if this was accidental or intentional." Linda's smile got tight. If it was intentional, there are federal statutes that apply. And right there I saw it. Just a flicker, not quite fear, more like recalculating. They turned to me. Where was I the night before? Who had access? "Any disputes?" I answered, careful. Showed them my photos, timestamps, app history. The agent told me I'd done exactly what they'd recommend. Mark and his crew kept testing. Every sign pointed to the same thing: deliberate, targeted, no collateral damage. About half an hour later, another car showed up. Government plates, uniformed guy. Introduced himself, shook my hand, and I immediately forgot his name because now my outage was officially a federal case. He was calm. "We're not here to alarm anyone. But when certain commercial handoffs go down, protocol kicks in." Linda wasn't hovering now. She'd retreated, arms crossed, clipboard hanging limp. Then my neighbor across the alley. Tom, quiet guy, keeps to himself. Walked up to one of the agents holding his phone like it might bite. I think I might have something. Turns out Tom had a motion-activated camera pointing at his garage. He'd reviewed the footage after seeing my post just in case. At 2:12 a.m., the camera caught someone near the pole pacing, stopping, bending down, standing up again. The video was grainy, but the posture, the hair clipboard tucked under the arm. Linda. They asked her to step aside. She tried to keep it together, but her story started slipping. Little details off, times didn't match, then bigger cracks. Why was she outside so late? Why hadn't she mentioned it? The agent stayed calm, firm, just kept asking. They bagged the cut cable like it was evidence in a case. By noon, the repair was finished. My connection came back fast as ever. The agents told me to keep my logs forward any documents from work about the outage. They explained possible outcomes, fines, restitution, even criminal charges if intent was proven. Then just like that, they left. Sedans rolled away, the street exhaled. Linda just stood there, frozen, watching her authority evaporate. Things changed after that. People started looking at each other differently. Like the rules we pretend don't matter. They really do. Garage doors finished opening. Someone started mowing. Kids came back out. But the mood wasn't quite the same. Linda didn't move, just stared where the cars had gone. The clipboard in her hand suddenly looked useless. That evening, the neighborhood app was on fire. People posted screenshots, quoted Linda's old comments about unsightly wiring. Others admitted they'd seen her out late before always checking compliance. A few tried to play peacemaker, reminded everyone that no charges had been filed. But the tone was different, the mystique gone. Power only works as long as people believe in it. 2 days later, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Not the usual cookie-cutter, fence-griping kind. Closed door at first, but word got out. I hadn't planned to go, but, well, curiosity wins sometimes. Linda sat at the head of the table, stiff as a board. The rest avoided her eyes. Stack of papers, screenshots, incident report letter about the federal inquiry. She spoke first, said she'd just meant to enforce the rules, neighborhood standards slipping, never thought it would go this far. She never said cut, danced around it. When it was my turn, I didn't raise my voice. Didn't have to. I explained how much that connection mattered, how it was my livelihood, not some decoration. Talked about trust property, the line between governing and controlling. Someone asked her point blank if she'd touched the cable. She hesitated. That pause did more damage than any confession. The board voted unanimous. She was removed as president pending the outcome. No drama, just quiet acknowledgement she'd gone too far. She left head down, didn't look back. That night I was in my garage, plugging the surge protector back in, listening to the modem hum lights blinking green, steady calm. Life back to normal. Across the street I saw Linda standing on the sidewalk, arms folded, staring at my house like she was still trying to solve an equation. For a minute I thought about letting it go. But something in me wanted a real ending, not just a fade out. Grabbed 2 coffees, walked across the street. "Do you want to explain?" I asked, holding one out. She looked at the cup like it was a trap. "I was just trying to keep order," she said. Her voice was small. "People don't realize how quickly neighborhoods fall apart. Order isn't the same as control," I told her, "and it sure doesn't include cutting someone's property." She didn't argue, didn't deny, just stared down at the sidewalk. "They won't arrest me." "Will they?" she whispered. "I don't know," I said. "That's not up to me." She nodded, like she had already accepted it. After that, things wound down. No more drama, just paperwork, interviews, and eventually a letter, fines, restitution, a record. Enough to sting, enough to matter. She quit the HOA, stopped posting. Some neighbors felt bad for her. Others thought she got off easy. Things settled. The block loosened up. People talked more, laughed more, let little things slide. Me. My internet's never been better. Provider rerouted my line, gave me redundancy, flagged my address as high priority. Every time I check those logs, see the steady green heartbeat, I remember how fragile systems really are and how a small abuse of power can crash into something way bigger than you ever expect. Sometimes justice doesn't come with sirens or speeches. Sometimes it's a clipboard losing its power, a camera catching the truth, cold procedure doing its job, no matter who you think you are. So let me leave you with this. Was Linda really a villain, or just someone who mistook control for responsibility? Did the punishment fit, or did the system overreact? And where do we draw the line between community standards and personal boundaries? Honestly, I want to hear what you think. Drop a comment, tell me your take. Because somewhere out there, somebody else is about to cross a line they think they own, and they might just need to hear this story before they do.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.